Hi everybody, welcome again to another program of Yeshiva Classroom. We have a lot to talk about. We tried to learn a little Torah, maybe a little bit more Torah. You know, a very interesting thought comes to mind. The creation on the first day in the book of Genesis, where the heavens and the earth were created by God's words. There were 10 emanations and everything was created. The second day, let there be a firmament, in Hebrew, rakia, in between the midst of the waters. Let there be a rakia, a firmament between the waters, and how it is explained by Rabbi Millers in his many books on on Jewish ideology and Judaism that he learned from Sinai through the people who learned and passed it on to Slobodka and then to the Yeshiva in America. So I mean he speaks about that, which is a beautiful thought, in that the planet Earth was surrounded by a cover of water, and God caused a division between the waters below the division and the waters above the division, and as a result, through gravitation, the waters below the division sank, and you had the heavens appear, and the waters above the division, right? The waters above the division, through evaporation and condensation, disappeared, and we have the heavens. The heavens are referred to the area above the Earth, planet Earth, where we have the atmosphere and the space that we live in, and the birds fly in the heavens, and that refers to the heavens above the Earth, the planet Earth. And the heavens is also used to describe the area above the division line, right, where the air becomes lighter, and we have space all the way out there, but that's referred to as heavens also. But we have two heavens, right? Let there be a rakia in the day number 2, second day. First day was the day of 1, which is only God was there. Second day, let there be a rakia in the midst of the waters. And the midst of the waters means that there was a planet Earth, and it was covered by a covering of water. And God caused a division so that the waters below that division became the heavens, and the heavens in which we are able to exist, and in which the birds fly in the heavens, and the waters above that division line become the heavens. Also uses the term heavens, but that is where outer space exists. So that's what happened on the second day. Let there be a firmament in the sky, in the water, that they should divide between the lower heavens in which we live and the upper heavens. Now, there's so much to talk about. You know, the Torah talks about the beautiful the second sentence in the Torah. It says, that the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. We bring this down on several occasions. And it was looking for a surrogate to do God's will on this earth. Right? God is the creator of heaven and earth, creator of man, because he wanted to show kindliness. He wanted to show kindness. So he created man, and he gave them all the beautiful life that we have, that we enjoy. And we're going to go into all the enjoyments that we live with, and to realize how important things are that we take for granted. Because today the young people have everything given to them at an early stage, at an early age, and they are accustomed to this these gifts of life and happiness, and they're constantly looking for the next stage where they can enjoy more happiness, so to speak. But we have to realize and understand that that we should show gratitude for the for the simple things that God gave us. Now, for instance, when we take food, there's so many different tastes that food has and make it varietal. You know, the tongue has different areas in it in which we can experience sweetness in the tip. The bitterness in certain areas of the tongue will give us that sensation, and sourness, and all the tastes are divided up in the tongue. T-O-N-G-U-E, that we take for granted. And that tongue causes us to experience the different tastes that were given to us, and we take it for granted. And the tongue has many other functions too. You know, when we eat a piece of food, and we have the incisor teeth there that are able to grab onto a piece of the food, and the mouth throws it back and to the molars where it is ground up, so that we will let it pass by and down into our gullet. And before that, the tongue throws the food into the elastic cheeks, so that it can be spread out, and the tongue can dart in and out for foreign or particles that are not digestible or not needed, and somehow got past the lips and the sucking abilities of the lips, which is a miracle in itself. And the tongue is able to decipher and throw out, bring to the gates of the mouth, the tongue, and the teeth, and the lips. And by the way, when we speak about the lips and the teeth, we speak about the guardians of our speech, because they are two gates, the lips and the teeth, which are used to keep closed and not use them in a bad manner, so to speak, and open them and let out bad words of curses or hatred through those of our vocal cords. So we keep those locked for occasions when they are not needed. But here we have God's telling us we must, where do I begin first? I want to tell everybody, first of all, firstshabbos.org. Firstshabbos.org is a website that you'll love to tune into, because it has it has first-person stories, short 4 or 5 lines of how they became observant, or how they experienced different things in Judaism. So check it out, write it down. Firstshabbos.org. 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 Here it is. Firstshabbos.org. All one word. Firstshabbos.org. It's really an enjoyable piece of first-hand stories, something like, you know, the columnists write, dear so-and-so, but these are dear so-and-so stories from individuals around the country, and you can contribute. There's a space on that page where you can contribute to that page of your first story. And of course, you don't have to give your name or email address or any of that thing, or you use abbreviations or whatever, however you want to write it down. These are first-person stories. So here we have God looking for a surrogate. You know, he spoke with Adam, the first man. He told him to work and guard the garden, and was given instructions. And it's you know, coincidental that the first instruction was a negative commandment not to eat of that particular tree of knowledge that was not necessary for man to exist, to live by. So that's what he was given, and he was told to pass this information on, to work and guard, to work the positive commandments, and to guard against the negative directive that he was instructed to use. That you find in the story of Genesis. But of course, we have a Talmud which describes in detail all of these things that we're talking about and that can be found. And the Talmud is a whole tangential subject in itself. And I urge everyone to take a Talmud. I mean, Jewish people, we have to learn. The commandment of learning Torah is more important than all the commandments put together, because by learning it means that we will do. By learning means that we will do. Okay, so the other thing is God was looking for a surrogate. Adam didn't do the job. I mean, because in his descendants, Seth, who continued to live, and whom we're descended from. We're descended from Seth, and he. We find that his offspring, and 2 generations later, were worshiping the servants of God, the stars and the moons and all kind of idolatrous thoughts and practices, worshiping things around them, something tangential. And of course, the Torah describes the God Almighty of fathers of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in anthropomorphic terms, because the Jewish people were in the midst of Gentiles and their practices, and it was easy to go astray. So the Torah speaks of God's hands, God's thoughts, God sees, God will come down. But God has no form. That's a paramount base of all of our teaching, that God is without form. We don't know. We've never seen him. We call him God, bless the name, Baruch Shem, Kavod, bless the name, Hashem. This is why we refer to him, because we can only refer to his name, Shem. He has no form. And that is December 15th, Deuteronomy chapter 15, Deuteronomy chapter 4, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15. When I say 4:15, it means the chapter and the verse 4:15. And Abraham was the one who would teach his children and his household the ways of God. He was the one that would teach his children and his household the ways of God. Simple as that. There were other people. I mean, that's why the Bible goes into Old Testament Jewish Bible, the only Bible that we have. We don't have any New Testament. We don't have any Johnny-come-lately that want to change the face of the wheel, make it work better. And you get a Judge Judy and a Rabbi Judy. There's a judge on the TV, but a Rabbi Judy and a Rabbi Jody, they came out and they said, well, we're going to disinvite the prestigious Mrs. Hatavli of the Israeli Knesset from speaking at our Hillel house. She's disinvited because she's, first of all, she's observant. She keeps the Sabbath and the mitzvahs to the best of her ability, and they don't like her views. This is the Hillel organization in Princeton University, the Hillel House in Princeton University. They spread their evil, their lies, their changes that they want to put into the face of the Jewish people, and they have these Hillel houses all throughout. Right. So what happened? It was this is being recorded November 20th, 2017. This happened a few weeks ago, in the beginning of November, where they disinvited her to speak at the Princeton Hillel house, right? Because who is Hillel? Oh, Hillel sounds like a religious name, right? Rabbi Hillel, they didn't go by rabbi. They just say Hillel, that he is a top scholar in Jewish history and Jewish observance and ideology based on Torah from Sinai. Just like you speak to Einstein, you don't call him Dr. Einstein. Everybody knows Einstein, and that's it. And the same thing with Hillel. Here, this group of people, Rabbi Judy and Rabbi Jody, I don't know where their offices are, but they came out and they say, well, we can't have Mrs. Hatavli, a member of Knesset, to speak in front of our Hillel house on Princeton. So what happened? Chabad House took this person, Mrs. Hatavli, and she spoke at the Chabad House at Princeton, right in New Jersey. So, a little bit about the evils of Hillel. They pass themselves out as a genuine, observant, Orthodox. I don't know. They don't say Orthodox because they have no. Haskama, proof that they are supported by a Orthodox observant organization. They don't have that. All they come out, they put the name Hillel and they hide behind it because everybody will know that Hillel means religious. And they advertise and they ask for monies in the observant neighborhoods. The flyers and letters come out asking for please support Hillel because we have Friday night dinners for the students. We have Friday night dinners. I have a friend who used to work in the Cornell Hillel house, and he said, in order to get free meals, you could work in the kitchen. So he did work in the kitchen at the Hillel house in Cornell. This is several years ago, and the food many of the foods didn't have kosher certification on them. And he pointed it out to the rabbi in charge. He says, oh, that's political. We read labels. That's what's important. Yeah, and I want to tell you something. You take it for granted that eating kosher is not important. But you look at the Holy Bible in chapter 20, in Leviticus chapter 20, there's 26 verses in that chapter, and the last verse, it talks about being holy. And you do not be immoral, do not be idolatrous, worship idols, and eat kosher. Eat kosher, and you will be holy. So, I mean, how does that make you holy? I mean, we don't know what holiness means, other than the definition. Holy means the perfection in emulating God's qualities. Perfection in emulating God's qualities. And by eating kosher and by keeping the commandments, we have a physical change. A physical change of being holy. A Jew is a physical, becomes physically changed. We don't see the change. Like animals can hear certain things. We have a wire. We don't know if it's a live wire or a dead wire. We see water. We don't know if the water is hot or cold, right? But there's a physical change that takes place. When a Jew keeps the commandments, he becomes holy, right? So where were we? We're back to Hillel. Do not support Hillel. They're egalitarian. They want to accomplish everything for everybody. They support the current mores and what have you. Their ideology shifts with the wind. And they want to be do-gooders, right? I mean, look, they want to reinvent the wheel. I mean, we've had that throughout our history, throughout our Jewish history, where people all of a sudden in later years, they say, hey, I like this concept of Judaism, I'm going to take a course, a crash course. Fine, you got a rabbi, you got a degree in ignorance, and with that degree, you can go around and have small groups and make them ignorant too. You make them ignorant too with your degree in ignorance. Why? Because, how is it possible that they could base their decisions on nothingness, on their feelings? One synagogue feels the leader feels this way, and the other one feels that it's not that way. But Judaism, from we call them Orthodox, from Masorah, means handed down from Sinai, says that we have to look at all the previous prior rabbis who ruled on similar situations. And then we make our determination. There's no way that Judge Judy and Rabbi Judy and Rabbi Jody could have studied these texts to base their decision on all these hundreds of years that went before, who ruled on matters that they based their decisions on previous matters, and see how they came to that conclusion. Well, you say, well, they didn't have light bulbs in the desert. They didn't have automobiles in the desert. We could do, this is the 21st century. There was no list of things that you cannot and can do on the Shabbos, the Holy Shabbos. But there are principles, general principles. That's what we're given, the general principles of constructing the Holy Temple, which is so important in Jewish life to equate it with the Holy Sabbath. And we say, well, that doesn't make me a good man or a better man if I carry something outside of an Erev on Shabbos or eating kosher. Does that make me a good person by eating kosher? That doesn't make me a good person. I mean, go rationalize. But the Ten Commandments, and from which was physically given, and which the Jewish people could derive the entire Torah, right? They could derive the entire Torah on the commandments that were given, physically given, the only physical object that was ever given by God to man, the Ten Commandments. They were given to the Jewish people. Oh, the Gentiles and the Reform and all these other Johnny-come-lately groups, the ideologies that are gods that are close by that you did not know of, or foreign ideologies. You know, if you want to prove your point, you know, we do that in India. That's how I found a text that says that this is important. I mean, where do you find the Jews in Israel going all over the country, falling off cliffs in Peru and Uzbekistan, and looking for who knows what? They're really looking for Torah, and the Orthodox has failed to give it to them. They should be setting up. Outreach centers where the student comes in and can learn books like I'm learning, you know, the basic ideology. And you always say, well, Rabbi Judy says they can do it. She got a degree. Right? I have a degree hanging on my wall. I'm a rabbi. What kind of rabbi is that? What kind of rabbi is that? And well, the people want to satisfy their conscience. And they say, well, listen, the rabbi said I could do it, and I'm going to do it. The rabbi says it. Right? They get a degree in ignorance and make their congregants ignorant. And you out there, those Jews that are listening, have to throw away those evil fifth columnists. And they've always existed in our history. From the Sadducees. You know, we don't believe in the Talmud. We don't believe in this. You have the Karaites who came along and said, we don't need this. We don't pick and choose. You know, it's like a restaurant. Well, where are they? They're dead. They're out of it. And throughout the history, you know, atheists, agnostics come along. They don't have the proof. The proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is give you the right books. Give us a call over here, right? Well, we'll tell you where you can find what books to read. And basically, you go to a Jewish bookstore, you go online. But listen, go online. Bing, ring, ring, ring. FirstShabbos.org. FirstShabbos.org. Right? First, all one word. F-I-R-S-T. FirstShabbos.org. And you'll see firsthand stories. So where were we? We're saying that in every generation, the fifth columnists are alive and kicking, and they think they're doing something good. They say it's the 21st century. The Orthodox are out. They don't know what they're talking about. This is the 21st century. They didn't have light bulbs. What can I tell you? Look, everybody's responsible. You know the difference. You can take a very easy path and say, the Rabbi Judy said I could do it. Fine, that's how you want to feel about it. Look, I can tell you a story about, you know, in the first grade, Mary C.I. Williams in Wilmington, Delaware. And who did I meet there? This kid came over escaped the Nazis with his family, and call him Henry, and he got a ticket out. I think it was the last boat down the Danube River in Austria. Does the Danube go to Vienna or whatever? And he saw the German planes, the Stuttgarts and the Messerschmitts, making target practice as the boat streamed out, shooting bullets all throughout the deck. So he came to America and said, how did you get out? I mean, all your people were, your friends, your relatives were killed. He said, you know, we won the lottery. And there was a family in Boston named Rice, and they picked our name out of the lottery, and here we are, that we could be given passports, and we got out, and the whole family is now in America, and they became Americans, and here we are in America, and we're safe and free. But they didn't want anything to do with religion, with Judaism. They blamed God for all of these travails that befell the Jewish people. And what happened? They were just not interested in seeking the old time synagogues and learned, erudite rabbis, and we ran after the dollar, and as a result, after many years, we finally came back. We met Henry.